Lesson 13 is the last one we're going to do in the textbook. The reason for that is that 14 and 15 get into more complex things that pull in other CS applications that we just don't do in this class. So this is our last one before we do our final project. Open the end one just to see what it's going to look like, where we're headed with it, and then you'll go to the start. We're going to be working with symbols in this one. We've done quite a bit with symbols along the way, just in our own exploration of finding things. Let's open the symbols library right here. We might as well pull it out because we're going to be using it quite a bit for this lesson. And there are quite a few other libraries, so we're going to click this icon in the bottom and choose the Nature library. So we've got a whole bunch of other symbols that we can use. If I click on the one I want to use, it will go into the symbols palette that I am currently using. So we're going to just take and drag a symbol over. Try that again. We actually want about 5 of these. So if you want to just drag some more over. If you want to check placement, you can look at that beginning file or just take off on your own and do it the way you want. I'm just going to kind of follow what's in the book. We can make some of them a little larger or smaller by clicking on them and just holding the Shift key down to drag your corners. If you don't do that, they won't resize proportionally. This one we're going to actually just drag even off of the screen. So we have some clouds here. Now let's double click on one of the clouds on the page, and it's going to say you're about ready to edit this, and say OK. It puts it in the isolation mode. Open up the opacity, or the transparency, I'm sorry, which is pretty much the same thing. We're going to take that down to 80%. If I can hit it right on 80, just to make that one a little bit lighter. And then open up the gradient panel. I think I'm going to have to go turn that one on. Gradient panel comes up. Oh, it was already up. And we're going to click on this gradient one in the middle here and our cloud. And our cloud does not have the blue in it. Be sure you have the whole thing open. And you can adjust the gradient colors that are in the clouds, as we learned in the last lesson, by just adjusting these somewhat wherever you want the center ones to go. Now we also need to open up the layers panel, so let's bring it out here. I think we're actually through with that one, so I'm going to close it down. Bring the layers panel out. We want to add some leaves, so we're going to create our own symbol. So this is the leaf layer that we're going to put these on. Right now it has nothing on it. Grab the pencil tool over here, and we need to change our color for this. It's going to be a green. Well, actually right now we just need an edge, so we'll take the green out. So we're going to draw a leaf. If you want to look at the picture on page 367, you certainly will not be able to go by what I'm drawing on the screen. So we're going to just draw a leaf with 4 little parts to it. When you get close to connecting, hold the Alt key down as you get close to it so that it makes one complete leaf. Then we want to make this one, sort of a green. This is the darkest green one. Not that dark. A little darker. I keep hitting that part. We need 3 other leaves, so select this with the Alt key, drag 2 more down. The others are going to be lighter, so one of them you need to make down to about 75%, and the other one, let's take it down to 50%. And it really doesn't matter which one you do first. Take the first leaf and drag it into the Symbols palette, and this one's going to be leaf 1. Drag leaf 2 in, and then drag leaf 3 in. So we got our 3 leaves. Now we want to be able to put them on our tree. And I may have my leaves a little big. I may want to drag those down a little bit smaller. Actually, I probably need to do it this way. Whoops. Okay. We're going to spray them with our symbol sprayer. So click on leaf 1, the darkest one, grab your sprayer, and we're on the leaf layer still. And I'm going to put some leaves on these trees with the green sprayer, the dark sprayer, and I think mine are a little bit too large. I'm going to add a few of the lighter ones and even the lighter ones. As I said, I'm quite sure that yours will end up looking a whole lot better than mine because it usually does. Now that we have our leaves on here, we're going to do some editing of them because there are some other cool tools that we can use. So we want to be sure that we have the leaves panel selected and select this symbol set, which is the first one. Underneath your sprayer tool is one called a symbol sizer tool. And what this does is to make some actually a little bit bigger. See if I can get it to work for me. There we go, just double click on it. Well, some of them are going bigger and some of them aren't. That one went bigger. If you want them to go smaller, hold the Alt key down and then they will go smaller. Seriously, they will. As you're holding the Alt key down, kind of drag over them and they'll get smaller. Okay, so you are also able to rotate a few of them. Underneath there is a spinner tool. And if you get on kind of the corner of one, let's see if I can get one to move for us. Just drag over. There we go. So As usual, you'll have better luck than I do. Okay, we're going to deselect everything. Go back to the leaves layer. We want to get our pencil and make the stroke 1 point. And we want the stroke color, oops, wrong one. Cancel that because we need the stroke color. And let's get our swatches turned on. It's the one called grass green. And with this selected, we're going to double click on the pencil to get the box up here, and be sure that you take off this keep selected. And we're going to draw, if you want to look at the picture on page 272, at least 10 blades of grass that are kind of in a clump. Okay, and then take your selection tool and select those. Now, where did my symbols go? I'm going to drag that into the symbols and call this one grass. Be sure to save it as a graphic. And we'll delete that one. Need to get our sprayer tool again, and we're going to try this grass down here. So put some grass around the bottom. Now, to make it look a little more realistic, underneath the spray can there's one called Symbol Stainer tool. And if you'll, guess we have to have a fill color picked out. I think our stroke is still that green. So with that, you're going to just stain a few of them so they're a little darker, so that they're not all exactly the same color as they would not be if you were in real nature. We're going to adjust the stroke weight of the grass a little bit, so if you want to double click on it, and that will take it into this isolation mode. And we can choose up here at the top to change it to 2 points rather than 1. And exit. Leave. Whoops. I want to get out of there. I'm going to actually get rid of these leaves on the side. I don't need them anymore. Moving to the flowers layer. There are hibiscus over here in the symbols. So drag out 4 of them. Place them any place you want. Must be a hibiscus tree. And then we're going to select one of these. So double click on it to put it in this isolation mode that we have just been working in. In the fill box for this, we're going to change our numbers to 0.78, 77, whoops, 11.37, and 0. And then we want to move to the gradient panel and take this new one that we just created and drag it over. Actually, we're going to put it on both ends, but then we're going to make this one end a little bit darker. Yes. And then take it down a little bit. Okay. Double click anywhere outside and save it. Now, if you'll look in the book on page 375, that is what it's supposed to look like when you have done this to that hibiscus. You can see that mine doesn't really look that way. If you're following along in the book, it asks us on page 376 and 377 to save all of these symbols as a set. I've gone through that process, and even though it makes me think I'm saving it, I can't locate it again, and it does not go where they say. So I'm thinking it's probably a network issue, since we do not have rights to save on the C drive where these things would go. So we will skip that part. However, if you look at the beginning picture, it never asks us to add these trees in the background, so we need to do that on the trees level. And we have the symbols right up here, so if you'll get your spray can, let's put some symbol or some trees back there. And we'll probably need to send them to the back a little bit, but we can kind of play around with that. So that's all you'll need to do on this one. There